that I would like to point out for those that you saw. The other thing is that they were all interdisciplinary. Now, I'm going to probably linger here just for a little while because I'm very passionate about this part. When I say interdisciplinary in its purest form, what I'm simply talking about is that it's related to other subjects. Now, I know the district and the states, they love having their buzzwords going around like integrated, arts integration, differentiated. Oh, that one just tickles me the most. I hear principals saying, it needs to be differentiated. It needs to be half these people don't even know what you're talking about. Number one, when you say differentiated, okay? Number one, you can't have differentiated learning unless you have differentiated instruction. And you can't have differentiated instruction unless you have differentiated content. So what are you referring to when you say differentiated learning? Don't just throw out a term there and not make sure the person knows what you're talking about. So, that said, dealing with arts integration. To integrate in its purest form simply means that I take this and I take that and I mash it together and I make a whole. Now, whenever I hear that term arts integration, especially as someone with an arts background in addition to education as well, it kind of rubs me the wrong way sometimes. Now, arts integration is fine. I'm not knocking it. I don't want you going out here saying, this guy, I don't know what he's talking about. Arts integration works. It's cool. It's cool. I don't have a problem with that. But I'd like to present to you a different perspective. Now, whenever I hear arts integration, I usually like to think of, what's her name? Mary Shelby's Modern Prometheus, the author of Modern Prometheus, Frankenstein, where basically you had the scientist, he took this part, and he took that, and he took that, and yeah, he took these pieces, and he made it a whole, but what did he end up creating? Something that was an abomination. It was unnatural. It was synthetic, which all too often happens when we come into education, and you're talking about arts integration. So basically what a principal does is they come to a teacher, let's say an art teacher, and say, I want you to take this art lesson and make it integrated with reading. So what an art teacher does is I take this and I take that, and it's now arts integrated. Versus interdisciplinary, which is basically saying that what I'm doing now instead is I'm going to take this subject area and I'm going to draw what's already in it, and I'm going to expose it. So instead, as let's say for instance for music, which is what I also have a knowledge base in, what I'll do, I like to say that it's like Prego, like the Prego commercial. You all remember that? It's in there. Prego, it's in there. Basically, the same thing is true for all those other subject areas. Whatever you're looking for, that connection, that relation is in there. You just have to know how to draw it out. So my question to you is this: what do you need, or what skill set, or what do you need in order to expose that connection that you're looking for? Just thoughts. And somebody got it in my last one. What do you need to be able to do, or what do you need to be equipped with in order to draw out the connection of two different subject areas or disciplines?
Motivated. Interested, motivated.
That's one thought.
Reference.
Oh, she just said it. You need to have a knowledge base in both subject areas. Because if you don't have that knowledge base, then you won't be able to make the connections. So again, going back to the example about the art teacher, it's unfair for a principal to say, I want you to come over here and make your art lessons integrated with reading, when the art teacher doesn't really know much about reading. You all know that teaching reading is totally different from teaching art. But if I don't know about main idea and cause and effect, if I don't have a knowledge base in that, how can I properly make the connections and make the students see the relations as well? So, I'm done talking for now. Let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at some things.